Movie Groove, 7 to 9 Thursdays on Energy Groove Radio.
My name is Alister Lockhart, and sitting in the chair with me to this evening, whatever that means, is the delicious Brad Dewins.
Oh, delicious.
How's it going, man?
Yeah, I'm alright. How are you?
I'm glad. You look good.
Thank you.
The name of the show is called Movie Groove. That being the case, have you seen any movies, man?
I have.
Yeah?
I've watched a couple.
You watched a couple? All right,
weeks,
okay.
which is rare for me because I don't often sit down and have the attention span to watch films.
Yeah, I know, which is a shame because we do a movie show together.
It is a bit of a problem.
What movies did you see?
I'm getting
this week?
better. I watched Non-Stop with Liam Neeson.
Oh, right. And Liam Neeson on it, yeah, setting off.
Yeah, it's Liam Neeson on a plane.
Liam
really.
Neeson on a plane.
Yeah.
I am sick of these maggot farming Liam Neesons on this moderately functional plane.
I had a great time with it.
Yeah.
I thought it wasn't trying to be anything other than what it was.
Yeah.
Liam
and
Neeson
what
on a
was
plane.
it? All right. So, and
It was
is there a big shock, like ending?
no. It actually has a really anticlimactic ending. I'm not going to
All
say
right.
anything else about it because it might spoil it for someone who's actually enjoying the film.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm not going to spoil it because I haven't seen it, but I was guessing that what's her name, Julianne Moore, would end up being the bad guy.
Oh, see, I had that kind of guess throughout the entire thing.
What? So you're not going to tell us if she actually does turn out to be the bad guy?
Well, she's not. No.
That's it, right?
No.
Yeah. So,
It's
well,
kinda
then
like-
that's a spoiler.
It's kind of just one big game of, that Guess Who game where you flip up the things, and it's basically that
Oh,
because the
right.
passengers are all lined up there. You're kind of like, which one is it? And that's basically what Liam Neeson does for the whole hour and a half. Just kind of approaches passengers in a really aggressive manner and points the finger at them.
Did you take my daughter? Sorry, wrong movie.
He either accidentally kills them in interrogation.
Accidentally kills them in an
Yeah,
interrogation.
he did that for a couple of them.
That happens to the police in the Northern Territory all the time. You'll get away with that. Come on.
Or, I don't know, he just blames the fact that he's an alcoholic on the fact that he's so aggressive. I lost my daughter.
I'm sorry, I lost my
I drink
daughter.
a lot.
I'm a drunk.
Yeah.
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 Oh, well, that sounds...
But, it wasn't trying to be particularly, deep.
Oh,
It
fair
was
enough.
It was just an action film.
And the other movie that you saw?
Lock. Locké. Tom Hardy.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah.
And what was it like? Was it
It was okay.
Is Tom Hardy-
It's challenging to watch.
Is it the one where he's just in a car?
He's just in a car for 2 hours. Yeah.
So it's...
And he's just on his car phone as well.
Mm.
So there aren't any other real, actors making appearances. It's just him in a car,
Yeah.
on the car phone, talking to his wife, talking to his boss, talking to his sons.
So it's kind of like...
He's driving. So the premise is that this guy Locke has had an affair at some point in his marriage.
Well...
And the lady he's had an affair with is now giving birth to a child that is his. And so
That's inconvenient.
he is driving on his way to the hospital to visit her, 2 hours away, in London. And so on the way, he has to confess to his wife what he's done.
Oh.
He also has to tell his boss that he's not going to make an appointment, which is really important, the next morning. And so throughout the course of the movie, you see him get fired, you see him get kicked out of his house, all of that kind of stuff. So it's not a particularly happy film.
Bad day for Mr. Locke.
It is a bad day for Mr. Locke.
That's what happens when you push your willy into holes that you don't do it.
That's right.
Be careful with what you do with your willy,
He got
fellas.
what was coming to him. I don't know. It's a big
so did she.
self-discovery sort of film.
And so
I thought it was...
Does he learn a lesson or two about life along the way?
Yes, he does. It's a very...
And just during a tour, because most 2 hour trips, I'm just kind of like, sheep.
Well, he did not stop once to pee. Did not stop once for Macca's.
Yeah.
He's obviously very dedicated.
Okay.
To
Well,
this
fair enough. Well,
baby
he is,
on the other
he's-
side of England.
He's got a child coming. At least he's,
But anyway,
Now he's got
I thought at first I was really put off by Tom Hardy's accent. And I'm like, that is a terrible, terrible fake British accent. And then after a quick Wikipedia, apparently that's his accent.
Oh, right. Yeah. So he's actually British. Well,
Yeah.
Oops. Yeah. So, and he's obviously he's coming up next year in the new Mad Max film.
Very
which is called
excited
Fury
about
Road.
that.
I'm really looking forward to hearing his horrible fake Australian accent.
Yeah.
G'day. Oh, Max.
Was
the
that
Warrior Max.
even filmed in Australia in the end, or did they actually take it to Africa?
No, they were in Namibia or somewhere. I have a guy that I went to uni with did the physical special effects for it.
Right.
Because he blows shit up. That's why he said the whole job was like it was two and a half months out at, I think it was Namibia, just racking up and blowing stuff up. So yeah, had a great time there apparently.
Good.
Yeah, grand old time. And that movie looks like it's going to be quite good. I've seen the trailer and
Yeah, the trailer looks amazing.
I would play a bit of it on the radio, but it's all just music.
So there are Australians in it, though, aren't there?
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's still set in Australia.
It's set in Australia.
Post-apocalyptic Australia.
Yes, and it's got an Australian bad guy, played by Hugh Keys-Byrne, who you might remember played the toe cutter in the original the first Mad Max movie.
Oh.
He was leader of the bike. He was called the toe cutter. He was leader of the bike gang, and
Okay.
and he had an Irish accent. And the actor's name is Hugh Keys-Byrne, and he's
I'm pretty sure I've only seen the second and third.
yeah. So he's returned to play a different character. The first one really isn't all that great. It's
Okay.
exactly what you would expect from a low budget movie.
Mm.
So the second one I think is definitely one of my absolute favorites.
That was a good one.
Even though it's got Mel Gibson in it,
Yeah.
it's like before he was insane.
He
Remember
looked
a
all
time-
young and dapper and very like...
Yeah, I remember there was a time when you would look at Mel Gibson and go like, "Yay, there's Mel. He's awesome," and not, "Oh my God, that guy's insane."
Yeah. And then Tina Turner was in the third one, correct?
Oh, she was. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, the role of Auntie Entity was her name, was written specifically with her in mind.
Right.
Yeah. So, anyway, there's some movie history for you if you were interested.
Yeah.
But moving along with the show, we always like to start each and every show with entertainment and movie news from all around the galaxy. This is the bit that we call Episode 25, A News Hope. And with Halloween moviegoers having no other choice for a scary movie, PG-rated alleged horror turd Ouija narrowly held on to first place ahead of Nightcrawler over Halloween weekend. Despite a Rotten Tomatoes score of 8%, critics agree that Ouija is so bland and generic that it's being trialled in combat hospitals as an anesthetic. But with the audience being 60% female and 75% under the age of 25, I'm guessing most of the audience failed to notice a movie at all, instead spending the total runtime either gawping at their phones or fumbling in the dark for a zipper in a Katniss Everdeen costume.
That's a lovely image to put in my
I
head.
know. Well, I remember fumbling in the dark in the cinema. You know, there's something nostalgic about Halloween. You dress up in a costume and your parents go like, "Oh, they're so sweet," and and then you go out and finger bang your girlfriend in the yeah.
Oh, God.
And we were both underage, all right? That's okay. It's okay when you're both underage. It is.
It's not when you do it, Al.
No, we've got a Rolf Harris story coming up. Hold on to yours. Also, Nightcrawler pulled a half-decent opening on 10 or so mil, but failed to dominate a weekend with almost nothing else on, due to a trailer which promised a crime thriller with a fresh approach and an unusual lead character, two things the mooing herds of mouth-breathers populating modern cinemas find far more terrifying than ghosts. Meanwhile, Nicole Kidman's latest film, Before I Go to Sleep, bombed horribly on 1.84 mil, a thriller concerning an amnesiac with a hidden past.
Wasn't even aware she had a new film.
Well, it's a premise so tired that the audience members who didn't see the end coming were amnesiacs with a hidden past. So she did have a new movie. We talked about it last week. Remember, we were saying that they were. She's been keeping out of the public eye because of the many reports of people turning into werewolves at the sight of her massive shiny forehead. So, and her dad's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, which killed by a werewolf. It's got to make you feel guilty. No. Also failing to draw a crowd was Saw the 10th anniversary re-release, because nostalgia only works when you enjoyed it the first time round, whereas a Saw movie is more something that you endure. Still, the Halloween weekend is always notoriously slow for the box office, mostly because no sane babysitter works on a night when every child is stuffed to the gills with so much sugar, food colouring and chemical preservatives they couldn't be controlled without an industrial cattle prod and a trained attack dog.
Now, did you take your kids trick-or-treating?
I did, yeah.
How was that in Australia, where we don't really celebrate Halloween?
Odd. It was odd, because, well, people were being very nice about it, whereas we had to do it last year, and there were still people going like, American thing, nah. "Ugh," you know, it's like, oh, sorry, I'm trying to make my kids happy on your watch. You know, maybe just get a bag of lollies. It's not that difficult. But people were a lot nicer about it this year.
Okay.
And people were putting like little Halloweeny knickknacks on the front lawn so that you would know to stop at their house.
Oh, I see. Right.
So that helped. And there was a lot of other people doing it as well. And
yeah, I don't appreciate Halloween. If any children come knocking at my door, they will have the hose turned on them, and I'll let my dogs loose.
but your dog would just, you know, they'd be like...
Well,
they
just
would get,
lick them.
Yeah, she'd get licked to death. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, you're a little doggy licking off all my paint. Oh, no, my face paint is getting licked off. Bad doggy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bit... I don't know. I mean,
She's aggressive with love.
what's wrong with kids coming to your door and you making them happy?
I don't like kids.
You don't like kids?
No.
Because?
They're annoying. Small.
But you never get... how often do you come in
Loud.
contact with children except in, you know, the supermarket?
A lot.
Do you go to the supermarket to relax?
I work in retail on weekends. Do you know how many children come into the store that are
It's not their fault your job
really
sucks.
underparented? Do you know how many children I almost see get crushed by TVs falling over or heaters or something because they're climbing on appliances?
I'm sure it happens multiple times on a daily basis.
Ugh.
Where they're climbing up the front and... Yeah.
Yeah. See, no, I don't appreciate it. But I just don't see how I have to buy lollies for other kids. Buy your own kids' lollies. Actually, maybe I should get more into the spirit of the trick as opposed to the
Yeah, well,
treat.
so, you know...
Oh,
and
wait, that trick is for the kids
trick or
to
treat,
do,
you say
isn't it?
trick and you bomb them with eggs. And then they come back to your house later and set it on fire.
I'm starting to come around to Halloween, actually.
Yeah. No, actually, I remember a long time ago, and I'm talking 15 years ago, I had a little place by myself, and two kids just came to the door with a carton of eggs, not wearing costumes, and went, trick or treat. So I gave them a beer.
Do they still egg your house?
No, they didn't. They were very,
Great.
very happy with the beer. Yay, a beer.
How old were these children? I don't
12
wanna know.
or something like that.
Terrible.
I just admitted to committing a crime on air. That's going to be fun when I get home. The police are here. Oh, good.
Yeah,
Anyway.
but that's a good idea. Just get some eggs. If kids come to your house,
Yeah.
trick straight away,
Yeah.
and then your house will become synonymous throughout the neighborhood. Oh,
That's-
don't go to Brad's house.
It really is difficult to get dry eggs off. That was Katy Perry.
Happy birthday.
Guess what the name of that song was?
Just did.
That's right. It was Happy Birthday.
Ding. That was a really weird start to the show.
That really was, but
God.
never mind. I think we're doing quite well. We've got a Michael Jackson number coming up, and there's a Wham number. This is going to be great.
Great.
Yes, it's all 80s this week on Movie Groove. It's what's on screen. Just in case you were wondering, you're also on Energy Groove Radio. And we're transmitting live from the beautiful city of Sydney and all around the world. My name is Alister Lockhart, and sitting with me is the indomitable Brad Durance.
Is that even a word?
Indomitable, yes.
It's a little too close to abominable or whatever.
No, abominable means, not good. Indomitable means that you cannot be dominated. So,
Right.
you don't get told to do nothing by no one, girlfriend, and then you snap your fingers like... Isn't that what the kids are doing nowadays? I'm so horribly out of
It,
touch.
I don't know.
That's
That word could be used in so many different...
indomitable.
impossible to subdue or defeat. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, I told you it was a good word. Anyway, we're still doing a news hope, and in other entertainment news, Jason Biggs is in the news.
Why?
Not for good reasons, I'm afraid.
He's
News.
stuck his willy in now.
Interesting you should say that. News.com reports that Biggs, who's been described as American Pie star Jason Biggs since that movie was a hit 15 years ago, has been caught on camera peeing in the face. Yes, that's peeing in the face
I nearly spat out my water.
of unfunny talk show troll Chelsea Handler on holiday recently.
Is Chelsea female or male?
It's debatable. She appears to be a female. The jury is out. So she's a talk show host. She's a comedian. She's a female comedian. She's horribly unfunny.
Oh, is she blonde? Is
Yes.
she she tries to have a really dry sense of humor, like really dry, sarcastic sense of humor.
Yeah, and it's horrible. It's
She
one of
just
those,
comes across incredibly unlikable.
It's one of those anomalies, those anomalies in America where, like George Lopez and Dane Cook, who just people who aren't funny at all, but are the highest paid comedians on the planet.
Yeah, yeah.
So she's one of that crew. It's horrible.
Yeah, I recognize her. Now that I'm looking at her face. Yep.
So,
So she got peed on.
in the video, Biggs is seen urinating on Handler from the prow of a pleasure cruiser as she swims in the ocean below.
Ew.
Handler giggles and lifts her face to the stream of urine and appears to do little to move out of the way. She claimed later in an interview on Conan that she was, quote, trapped there because the current was too strong and she had no choice but to hold on for dear life. I guess I don't really know enough about boats in the ocean. Because to me, the water had this whole dead calm look about it. So I guess the water can be deceptive. Poor Chelsea, she's lucky to be alive. I wonder if she chastised Jason at all for risking her life like that by peeing in her face while she was clinging to the boat for dear life.
I'm horrified by this.
It's really
gross.
It's really awkward.
She got golden showered.
The video was shot and posted online by Biggs's wife. Oh, hooray for Hollywood.
Just pissing on Chelsea Handler.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if
Wow.
you're going to pee somewhere, it's a good place to start.
That's so gross.
Well, you can check. The video's only 7 seconds, but
How old are these people?
She really does just kind of giggle, and she was just like, "Oh no, oh goodness."
Well,
You
she's
know?
already in the water. What's she gonna do? I don't know.
I don't know what's wrong with these people. It's probably just a replay of what happened the night before.
Yeah.
So the news isn't getting better. We've got Rolf Harris. He's in the news.
Again?
Celebrity kiddie fiddler and former Australian
Where's he
national...
stuck his willy now?
It's all about the willies on Movie Groove. I'm afraid so. Celebrity kiddie fiddler and former Australian national treasure has been moved, according to a source in the Sun newspaper in the UK, to another prison, quote, for his own safety. Harris had initially attempted to curry favour with his new bunkmates with free sketches and other artworks, but after jumping the queue to a highly sought-after position, working in the prison garden, Harris has seemingly fallen from grace amongst his new peers and is now enjoying the standard treatment that pedophiles expect from Her Majesty's prison system, taunting, spitting, and other forms of judgment from prisoners of better standing, such as murderers, pimps, and people who only beat and rape women above the age of consent, in order to demonstrate their moral superiority to the 85-year-old entertainer and nonce. None of this is funny. It's horrible. They're making me feel sorry for a pedophile. It's not right.
Oh, dear.
Rolf Harris is famous through the years for such memorable songs as Timey Kangaroo Down Sport, Jake the Peg, and the classic Two Little Boys. Remember that one?
It's a bit awkward.
2 little boys had 2 little toys. Each had a wooden horse. I can see you quivering in anticipation. A wooden what, Al? A wooden what? Horse.
Is it just me, or does that just seem wildly inappropriate
If you think
in the context of this story?
Well, in the context of this story, if you'd like to hear wildly inappropriate, I think my favourite of his is this track from 2000.
No.
I love myself.
This isn't Rolf
I want
Harris.
you to love me.
It is.
When I feel down, I want you above me. I search myself. I want you to find me. I forget myself. I want you to remind me. Ooh.
Okay. That's about all I can take of that.
That is so... I feel like I need a shower now.
Somebody open a window.
Don't touch me, ever.
I feel really dirty. That's a small taste of Rolf's cover version of the 1990 Divinals hit "I Touch Myself."
Oh, Rolf.
Happy days.
Wow.
That's
Make me Ralph.
That's, so you can check that out online.
Such an inappropriate song for anyone to sing, especially with those mouth noises he was making.
So you can hear that again if you tune into the podcast. Just look for the podcast version of this show on YouTube. It's my channel, Alister Lockhart.
Just in time for Halloween.
Yes,
darling.
indeed. It doesn't get scarier than that. It really doesn't. And in other news from Celebrity Dumpster, TMZ reports that Charlie Sheen has attacked a dentist with a knife in his surgery in Los Angeles.
That checks out.
Yeah, well, if you're going to attack somebody with a knife, it's going to be a dentist. It must be terrible to be a dentist.
It must be terrible to be Charlie Sheen.
No, nobody. Dentists are. You know how they say that dentists have the highest rate of suicide of any profession.
Really?
It's one of the worst ones. You know?
Is it really?
Psychologists and dentists, because psychologists because
It's
nobody ever goes to them because they're happy, and dentists because nobody's ever happy to see them. Full stop. Right? Not at their work and not at a party. What do? I'm a dentist. Oh. That's a conversation stopper right there. Pest controllers, on the other hand, happiest men in the world. Because everywhere they go, they get treated like superheroes. Oh, thank God you're here. They're in there. Kill. If you want true happiness, become a pest controller.
Charlie Sheen attacked his dentist. Why?
He was apparently high on crack and pain medication for a recent shoulder injury at the time, and according to his spokesperson, had, quote, a bad reaction to the laughing gas.
Whatever, Charlie.
It's just...
The dentist probably just refused to give you any more.
Yes, it's just oxygen, isn't it?
I don't know.
The
I've never had laughing gas.
Oh, no, hang on. No, it's not. It's nitrous... it's some kind of oxide.
I've never had it, so I've no
It's
idea.
a bad reaction to the laughing gas. Okay, Charlie.
Look, I don't know. Every time I've been to the dentist, they've just patronised me and made me feel like an idiot for not brushing my teeth properly. Or not having the correct diet. I'm eating too much sugar. I'm like, yeah, I know. So just that's keeping you in business, isn't it? So just,
yes,
you know.
Dentists. We all hate you. Just keep killing yourself. You're not real doctors, you know. Anyway. They deserve it. Welcome back to Energy Groove Radio.
We just had a talk break about Rolf Harris. Please don't. Not already.
Interesting fact. Which sovereign state has the lowest age of consent in Europe? The answer may not surprise you.
Germany?
No. Smaller.
No idea.
The Vatican.
Oh.
The age of consent in the Vatican is 12 years old.
Oh, that's a bit awkward.
Yes. Yes, it really is.
Isn't that awkward for everyone?
Yeah, there must be a reason. I can't seem to think of what that reason might be.
I wonder why that is.
So you really should have gone into the priesthood, I guess, Rolf.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna go lighter right now. We're gonna move off pedophilia and remind the listeners that my favourite bit of the Oscars is the in memoriam segment, Brad.
God.
But why wait until March when we can enjoy death every week?
How much darker could we go?
I'm fairly sure. You know, there's no bottom to the depths that we can plumb here on
keep on
Energy
digging.
Groove Radio. This bit is called Dead for Reals.
Behind the clouds, the sun is shining. There's a big blue sky waiting right behind the clouds.
Well, you're dead now, so shut up!
Yes, and this week on Dead for Reals, well, listeners, caught this.
Well, this is lovely out.
Isn't it, though? You're listening to the smooth and sexy clarinet sound of Bernard Stanley Acker-Bilk, MBE, which means Master of the Medal of the British Empire. It's like the Order of Australia, only the British version. Anyway, He was an English clarinetist and vocalist known for his trademark goatee, bowler hat, striped waistcoat, and breathy vibrato, rich, lower register clarinet style. Because, well, facing facts, you're not going to get famous with just a clarinet. Bilk's 1962 instrumental tune, Stranger on the Shore, the track that we're listening to right now, Bradley, became the biggest hit of 1962, although to be fair, number 2 was Mashed Potato Time by Dee Dee Shore.
I think I need to hear that.
I'm afraid I don't have that track with me today, but perhaps next week we'll have a listen to that one. It's just that awful period where, you know,
Apparently singing about mashed potato is...
yeah, or like,
Last night I heard my mama singing a song.
oh God, shut up.
I think we're being disrespectful for the clarinet now.
Yes, anyway.
It's lovely clarinet.
He's dead at 85 and
Yeah.
we miss him already. I thought, let's just leave him on.
So he did a soundtrack to something?
I don't know.
Oh, what?
No, he was really famous in Britain, so that's why I actually forgot to look up what movies he's in, but I'm sure that he's been in a bunch. Why don't you look him up? Why do I have to do everything
What's his
for
name?
you?
Bertie.
Do you know how much prep I have to put in this show?
What's his name?
You
Bertie-
horrible, horrible people out there who just sit there
Bertie
listening.
Acclimanet.
No, Acker Bilk. A-C-K-E-R.
I'm good. Bertie Ackerman, I can't.
B-I-L-K.
What?
Acker Bilk.
Ah,
Come on, Google faster. Dance, monkey.
Acker
Bilk.
Bilk.
B-I-L-K.
Acker
Yeah.
Bilk.
Got
Ah, here we go. Yeah. Oh, he's got a lovely cover picture there of him in a vest holding his
Mhm.
clarinet.
Yes. And so movies?
I'm getting there. I'm not so quick at the computer.
Well, this is a radio show. There are people listening.
Yeah.
No.
No.
This is great radio. Nothing on IMDb about Ackerbilk.
No.
I'm sure that this must be.
Soundtrack to Sweet Dreams, a film biography of country music legend Patsy Cline.
Well, there you go. We all remember that one, of course.
That was worth waiting.
That was really something that I'm probably going to cut from the show.
Ah.
Renee Asherton. Hang on. Let's
What?
do that again. Renee Asherton.
Well, dead.
Yes. She died on the 30th, which is just 7 days ago. She was an English actress of stage, film, and television. Much of Asherton's theatrical career was spent in Shakespearean plays, appearing at such venues as the Old Vic, the Liverpool Playhouse, and the Westminster Theatre. Her first stage appearance was on the 17th of October, 1935. She was only 20. I bet she was hot. Her first major... 99-year-old ladies. Her first major film appearance was in The Way Ahead in 1944, and her last film appearance was in The Others in 2001, directed by Alejandro Amenabar. We thought she was dead in that movie, but spoiler alert, if you don't want to know what happens at the end of The Others with Nicole Kidman, tune out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It was actually Nicole and her kids that were dead. Yeah. Big twist ending. And, you know, turning people into werewolves with a big shiny forehead. Anyway, she's dead now. Not Nicole Kidman. Renee Asherton. She was 99, so it was about time, really. And oddly this week on Dead for Reals, we've got a horse.
Well, dead.
Yes.
What, two of them, don't we?
Well, let's start off with the one that, that just kind of imploded. You know, one of them broke a leg. When a horse breaks a leg, that's it. I mean, like, the leg's not going to heal.
No. They're glue.
They're glue if they break a leg. So, and that was a terrible shame. That was just a freak accident. Because apparently a small child waved a flag at the horse.
Again, children need to be reeled in.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing about horses.
What's a child doing at a bloody horse race?
They're thick. Horses are the stupidest creatures and not even as intelligent as chooks. You know, and they panic at everything. Oh, what's that? It's a flower. Ah, what's that? It's grass. You spend every day in this field. It's just grass. Calm down, you stupid creature. They're like cats, you know. They're incredibly dim. Like, you know, like people say, "Oh, my cat's like psychic." No, he's not. He's not. He's as thick as pig shit. You're imagining things. And your horse is the same. Wake up. Anyway, but they are lovely creatures. Admire Rakti was a bay horse with a white star bred in Japan by Northern Racing. On the 18th of October, he won his run in the Grade 1 Caulfield Cup, and 11 days before the race, he had avoided serious injury after being attacked by his training companion, Admire Inazuma. Apparently. After his victory at Caulfield, his weight for the Melbourne Cup was increased to 58.5 kilograms. That's higher than any race winner has ever carried since Think Big in 1975. The horse started at a 9-2 favourite, but finished last of the 22 runners, and then after the race, he collapsed and dropped dead.
I must say, though, you know what is really depressing is that these horses have a much more impressive biography than I do. And
he's been to more countries than you have.
Yeah. He's won more medals. He's adored by more people.
I'm just going to go off and kill myself. I'm going to take a bunch of horse tranquilizers and have a massive heart attack and start bleeding into my lungs. ABC Online reports initial autopsy shows he died of a massive heart attack, although internal hemorrhaging has not been ruled out. Equine veterinarian Dr. Chris Whitten of the University of Melbourne's Veterinary Hospital, where the post-mortem was conducted, said that it may take weeks to establish exactly why the horse died. Hemorrhaging into the lungs happens in nearly all horses that race to some degree, he said. It's usually a small amount and of no consequence. So whenever I start bleeding into my lungs, I think, another day, another dollar.
Yeah, what are you going to
Same
do?
old thing. It's just like at the Olympics. Athletes drop dead at the end of a race all the time.
Don't they?
That's
I hate horse racing.
Don't we all? Also on Cup Day, a second horse, Araldo, who you mentioned, also died. He was euthanized after breaking his leg as a result of being spooked by a small child with a
Stupid
flag.
child.
Stupid horse.
Stupid child. Shouldn't be waving flags at horses.
No,
if you know horses can spook easily,
The place
don't wave
The
shit in
place
its face.
is packed to the fences with people, and yet one of them just appears under his nose. Ah, what's that?
It's the same way I react to any children.
There are millions of these things here, but that one's smaller, and it's got something colourful.
It's loud.
Ah, I
Yeah.
must run. Stupid, stupid creatures.
Stupid child.
I'm glad it's dead.
No, horse racing's horrible. It's cruel. It's stupid. It's pointless.
Yes. If
And
you're a horse...
horses shouldn't die.
I know. If you're a horse lover, get a life. Animal activists have seized upon the tragedy in their continuing campaign
So they should.
against the sport of racing. But a spokesperson for the racing establishment, Mr. Beaufort Arsenuckle, has criticised the protesters
Did I just say arse knuckle?
a spokesperson for the racing establishment. This is what's written down here.
His name arse knuckle.
Mr. Beaufort Arsenuckle. I didn't make that name up, I promise.
That's so unfortunate.
Has criticised the protesters for quite literally flogging a dead horse. Thank you to the studio audience there. They really liked that one.
They did.
Comment is untrue, but it is funny.
Yeah, well.
So don't worry, all the thrills, action and glamour of Australia's most celebrated sporting event, the Melbourne Cup, will be back next year. Bring a shovel. So I was just saying it's interesting to think of a time when we all thought that George Michael was straight.
I honestly don't know how you were all fooled at the time.
Well, it just never came up,
Just look at him.
so to speak. I don't... Well,
Especially in that video clip.
we didn't know what they looked like back then. You know, them.
Them.
So, wherever you are right now, George Michael, I hope you're lying in the arms of somebody nice.
By them we mean musicians.
Yes, that's right. Musicians with their earrings and they're taking their drugs and they're hipping and they're
Their
hopping.
limp wrists.
Oh, dearie me. Anyway, big shout out to Freddie the Turk, our esteemed employer. You remember Freddie the Turk?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I remember him well.
He was in Australia recently. I got to meet the man in person.
He
but
was.
there is a tale of Freddie the Turk that needs to be told once again, and it's narrated by none other than Mr. Morgan Freeman himself. And here it is now.
Freddie the Turk was born on a mountaintop. And, well, just as the gypsy woman had prophesied, he was indeed a son of a gun. Raised by wolves, Freddie grew to manhood in a little under a year. and soon captured the attention of the ladies. But it wasn't long before he had tasted of each one of them, and after fathering every person who lives in the area we now call the Northern Hemisphere, he set out, as he said at the time, to make a real difference in the world. By the age of 18, he had conquered the entirety of civilization as we know it. Almost the first human being to walk on the moon, Freddy graciously stepped aside to hand the honor to some guy called Neil Armstrong, who screwed up the line that Freddy had made up for him. Unperturbed, Freddy flew back to Earth all by himself, stopping only briefly along the way to rescue some Russian cosmonauts and hand-rear an orphaned tiger cub to adulthood. On returning home, after a brief rest, he then discovered the vaccine for polio. Now 23, while idly breaking the sound barrier at the summit of Mount Everest, Freddy looked down upon the world as God watched him in awe, wondering at what he might not do next. But when Freddy the Turk saw the breadth of his empire, and beheld that there was no more left to conquer, he did not weep like a little girl as Alexander the Great had done, and instead decided to invent the medium of radio. He didn't know it at the time, but, well, Freddy's invention would go on to kill Hitler, and help the United Nations to bring democracy to every corner of the world, except Scotland. To this day, Freddy the Turk continues to be the inspiration for all good things that happen on the Earth, despite having left long ago to make contact with life on other planets, which he did more than a year ago. He has become their king, and all of their females are now pregnant. They, like us, have much to thank him for. Good night.
Isn't that inspiring?
No idea what I just heard.
That was the legend of Freddy the Turk. That's a true story. All of that is true. Morgan Freeman said it.
Yeah.
I think he had a bit of a cold, but...
Yeah, he's a little higher than normal.
Shush. What are you implying? That we didn't hire the real Morgan Freeman to do that?
Well, just saying.
Well, skeptic all you like. Skept away.
That was lovely. I'm sure he'd appreciate that.
I'm sure that he would.
Very informative.
Actually, I have another recording here which I think you'll quite like.
Oh,
Brad, you saw this the other night.
I hated it. It was too long.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was.
Yeah.
And I think it might just have seemed longer.
Beautiful to look at, but way too long and dry.
But yeah, it was longer than it needed to be. Longer than the original, certainly.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Oh, we're having
everything
fun.
I say
It's
out of
great.
context.
What do you mean out of context? I have no idea how to use editing software. As this next sting will attest, because we've got the segment where we have a look at what's opening in theatres in Australia and all around the world. This is the opening scene. Ooh. God, I hate that. I keep on promising to change it, and every week I come in, there's just no time. Anyway, in opening scene, we've got Big Hero 6. And just like Kevin Smith reading transcripts of his own podcasts, the superhero movies just keep on coming. The newest Marvel comic book adapted to the screen by Disney is Big Hero 6, an animated sci-fi about a boy and his robot. We have a robot at home.
What, a Roomba?
No, it's sort of a robot. My wife keeps it in a drawer by the bed. His name is Busby.
Oh, that's sweet.
Robotics prodigy Hero, Ryan Potter, lives in the city of San Francisco. Besides his older brother Tadashi, Hero's closest companion is Baymax, a robot whose sole purpose is to take care of people. When a devastating turn of events throws Hero into the middle of a dangerous plot, he transforms Baymax and his other friends Gogo Tamago, Wasabi, and Honey Lemon, and Fred, oddly enough, into a band of high-tech heroes. I think it'd be kind of cool to have a robot if you were a kid. You know,
It depends on whether it's a Busby or not.
well, you know, no, I mean an actual robot. You'd be like, hey, delete my browser history.
Yeah.
Pick up all those tissues. Hold the flashlight between your butt cheeks and lie still. You know you would. That's what every boy would do with a robot. I wonder if I can put my pecker in it.
Why?
I don't.
Why?
Because you deserve to be punished. Anyway, next.
Whoever says robots won't take over man's job.
Well, yeah. They already have. Haven't you seen those Japanese real dolls?
Yeah, they're really odd.
Really,
they're
yeah.
strange to look at, aren't they?
It's an effect called the uncanny valley.
Yeah,
Have you heard this?
yeah, I have.
Yeah. So the
It just sits in that weird uncanny valley where it's not quite right.
Yeah, so they're like, stuff that the more realistic it gets, it's like comforting, and then there's just a point where it looks so realistic, you're like, ew, there's something really wrong with that.
Yeah.
And the Japanese, these girls that look, they're not quite like a real girl. It's like, kiss me, Bradley.
But they move so... Have you seen them move and twist and do all that stuff? They move so unnaturally, but they look so real. So you're like, this is just...
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's supposed to be coquettish, and they've got those Japanese anime voices. Yeah, that's bringing sexy back right there.
Sure is.
Anyway, Interstellar.
I'm so excited for this.
Oh, I'm glad. Opening in the States and in Australia, for once. Matthew McConaughey is a master multitasker, en route to another planet in the new Christopher Nolan sci-fi epic Interstellar, because apparently he's like the best pilot we've ever had, and the best engineer.
Yeah, well, that can happen.
And the best, chemist.
I haven't heard that before.
Basically, he's Batman. If he was a detective as well, he'd be Batman. Anyway... it's the not too distant future, and the Earth is knackered to the point where it cannot regenerate, because when human beings kill something, we make sure it stays dead. So, just as we've done for millennia, rather than try to figure out how to fix it, we just find something else new to break. And so Matt and his, I think it's a team of sexy geniuses, or is it just the one? They head off into deep space to find a planet, a lot, but not exactly like this one, with life too dumb to protect itself from a thoughtless, toxic infestation like us. Also starring Anne Hathaway as Sexy Genius 2. Yeah. And Sir Michael Caine as a world-weary wisdom dispenser,
I like Michael Caine.
I like Michael Caine. You have to listen to what I say there, because I'm very wise. I've played this same role in 4 other Christopher Nolan movies and counting. The bloke who says wise things shortly before he dies.
I guess Morgan Freeman wasn't available that weekend. He must have actually watched Transcendence. That was it. Yeah, that horrible thing with Johnny Depp. Did you see that?
I didn't see it. I didn't need to.
Well, yeah. So reports were not good. Also in US cinemas today, The Better Angels, an artsy biopic about the simple dirt farm boyhood of one Abraham Lincoln. But he is now the closest thing that the US has to a saint, despite being known in his own lifetime as the worst president they'd ever had. So if he gets shot, there's hope for W yet. Hunting accent doesn't count, George. And in local cinemas... Thank you. Opening in Australia this week is documentary Finding Vivian Maher. A documentary, how boring you might say. And perhaps you're right, but I like to see it. Now considered one of the 20th century's greatest street photographers, Vivian Maher, M-A-I-E-R. Maher. Was a mysterious nanny. Ooh. Nannies are suspicious. They're
a little bit.
They're either serial killers or superheroes. There's never any in between.
Touch me? Yeah.
I read this one story by Neil Gaiman, where
is that Amanda Palmer's husband?
I'm not sure who Amanda Palmer is. Neil Gaiman is an author.
Yeah, from Tasmania.
What?
Yes.
He's from Britain.
Or at least he's living in Tassie now.
He's living in Tassie. Oh, that's interesting. Anyway,
I am 90% sure he is.
Anyway, Mary Poppins, she was freaky. And so was Vivian Maher, who was a mysterious nanny who secretly took over 100,000 photographs that went unseen during her own lifetime. Maher's strange and riveting life and art are revealed through never-before-seen photographs, films, and interviews with dozens who thought they knew her. And for parents... Oh, you were going to say something there. You've got something.
I'm still on Neil Gaiman.
Oh, right, yeah. No, he wrote this great little... his episode of Mary Poppins, where she takes children to heaven to meet God, and Jesus is very intimidated by her because she was his nanny when he was a little boy. And one of the little girls is saying to God, did you make everything? And he said, yes. And she said, the stars and the planets and everything? And he said, yes. Even Mary Poppins? And he went, oh, no. I didn't make her. She's Mary Poppins. Something about that gave me a real chill. That was cool.
Well, yeah, he's kind of known for his dark fantasy, science fiction-y stuff. But
He wrote, there's a book called Smoke and Mirrors, which is a collection of short stories, and the very last one in it is the Snow White story told from the viewpoint of the Queen. In that version of the story, Snow White is pale for a reason.
Yeah.
And has a taste for, blood.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Dun, dun, dun.
the Queen gets very unfairly treated in that version of the story. It's great.
But yes, he is married to Amanda Palmer, who is a singer-songwriter.
Ah, well, there you go.
She was one half of the Dresden Dolls.
Well, I certainly hope that wherever they are this evening, they're happy and having fun. And for parents, we also have Maya the Bee Movie. An Australian-German production made necessary by the fact that you don't get money for animation inside Australia because our government is led by a leering, jug-eared throwback who thinks it's 1933. In Germany, ironically. And we have a little clip.
Listen to that buzz. That's the sound of good little bees keeping this great hive efficient. Ow!
That was so fun, did you see? I was all the way up there and I was like...
Every bee in this hive has a role to play.
What's a bee?
A bee is a good little girl who does what she's told.
But isn't that kind of silly?
There's no place in this hive for troublemakers.
I've left the hive and I'm never, ever coming back. Wow!
So you could probably guess what's going to happen next.
Sounds a bit cute.
Yeah, I've read a review, and it said that, well, it's a kids' movie. There's not a lot for parents, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
So it's one of those ones that you have to kind of endure.
Well, it has Jackie Weaver in it and the painful Richard Roxburgh.
You don't like Richard Roxburgh?
No, he's in every Australian film
He
that
does.
has any slight international appeal.
He was very, very good in Blue Murder. He was very, 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 very bad in Van Helsing. Remember he played Dracula in that?
And he was also very, very, very bad in Sanctum.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
He was very bad in Mission Impossible 2.
Yeah, with a fake South African accent. A thing called broke his jaw. Oh, the screensaver came on and I panicked. Ah, where's my thing gone? No. Anyway.
Speaking of aging.
Shush, I'm doing my best. Where am I? I want my warm milk and slippers.
God, that'd be good right now.
Wouldn't it, though? See, now you are getting old. Oh, I want my warm milk and my slippers. All I want for Christmas is a
I
pair
have
of...
leftover tuna bake in the fridge, and that is exactly what I'm going to be doing when I get home.
Leftover tuna bake. Does it mind if I come round to yours? All I want for Christmas is a pair of socks, really.
Yeah.
That's the weirdest thing, is that I used to look at my father getting socks for Christmas and thinking, like, that just sucks. That's terrible. And then, Christmas comes around and I'm like, what do you want for Christmas? Socks and undies. Really comfortable underwear. That's what I want for Christmas. Oh my God.
They're hard to come by.
I'm old.
And
they're easy to come in. Hey! Sorry. Hang on.
Anyway.
Hang on.
All right, we're talking about movies, though.
We're talking about movies. Every now and again on the show, we like to take a drive through another world. A world where there are no rules. This is the trailer trash.
Sakes alive, looks like we got us a convoy.
It makes me so happy to hear that.
Ah, it's lovely, isn't it? Anyway, Universal Pictures has released the first trailer for the highly anticipated sequel, Furious 7. Did you ever think you would live in a world where there are 7 Fast and Furious movies? No. You've got a very sad look in your face.
Well, it's just, it sends me right back to high school because, our high school had this thing where it's like, oh, end of year, very fun, let's go watch a movie.
Yeah.
And all the cool people would have to obviously go and see Fast and the Furious, while the other people would go and choose to watch Harry Potter or Blue Crush or something like that.
Which group were you in?
I had to pretend I was in the Fast and the Furious thing. So I sat through probably 3 of those films in consecutive years, and I'm really disheartened to hear that they're still going.
Yeah. What was Blue Crush?
No, it's that surfing film, the Australian one
with
3 chicks that go surfing.
Oh, chicks going surfing. Yeah.
I'm not sure what it was about. I think that was the appeal.
That sounds good.
Not for pubescent 16-year-old Brad, it's not.
No, okay. Well, fair enough. So you went for muscle cars and Vin Diesel.
Supposedly, yeah.
That's my Vin Diesel.
So anyway, what are they doing this time with the loss of one of the people that were in it?
Well, continuing the global exploits in the unstoppable franchise built on speed and complete ignorance of the laws of physics, Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, and Dwayne Johnson lead the returning cast of Fast and Furious 7. Let me just hold your horses lest they get shot or die of a heart attack. And Paul Walker, despite Paul Walker now being dead, and Vin Diesel looking more every day like a granite Hellboy maquette without the tail, Aussie director James Wan helms this chapter of the hugely successful series that Yes.
Really? The insidious Saw guy?
I believe so. That also welcomes back from the dead doomed lesbian Michelle Rodriguez, L'Oreal advert Jordana Brewster, one-man irony dispenser Tyrese Gibson, Chris Ludacris Bridges looking like the love child of Martin Lawrence and Borat, Mrs. Thor Elsa Pataki, and Tokyo Drift alumnus and a hillbilly spawn, Lucas Black. And we've got a clip.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to work.
Hey, Roman, you freaking out?
No.
Yes, you are.
Can somebody just walk me through what we're supposed to be doing?
Justin, you didn't think it could get any better, huh?
Here we go.
So
sounds about right.
It's very visual. I don't know. There was a car flying, and then it dropped out of a plane and landed on a road, and somehow that didn't destroy its. It didn't burst the tires. It didn't destroy the suspension. It didn't make any of the struts pop up through the bonnet.
Having watched 3 of these films, I have not picked up on any car lingo.
No.
Nope.
No. Well, you wouldn't really. I don't think they're really into the actual structural details of your automobile. It reminds me of I don't know if you ever saw a show called The Dukes of Hazzard. You might know of it.
Yeah.
Which they did in the 70s, and the car that they chose as their main sort of hero car, which was known as the General Lee. You know that the orange one with the 1 on the side.
Yeah, I believe I had the Dukes of Hazzard PlayStation game on PlayStation 1.
So that was a 1969 Challenger. Or a Charger, as it was known here in Australia. And the reason they chose that one was because it was common as muck. Because they were cheap. Really cheap. Nobody wanted them.
So they could have a lot of them and throw them around.
Yeah, nobody wanted them. They were really, really unfashionable. So they bought a whole bunch of them, and they would, every time they did one of those jumps, and there was at least 3 in every show, they would destroy one. Because the car just doesn't come back from that, ever. So by the time they got to the end of the show, which they really didn't expect to last, they destroyed 300,000 of them, and it was now the rarest model of of Chrysler.
Wow. There you go.
So, yeah.
It's really interesting.
It's a strange show to watch now, because I thought it was great when I was a child.
Yeah.
But now you watch it and you kind of like, oh, no, oh, bang, oh, boy. And then they just cut to the front shot and it's a whole new car.
So, the magic of television.
The magic of television. It was fantastic. Anyway, these people are joined by international action stars new to the franchise, including Action Bot 6.0 Jason Statham.
Hello, I'm Jason Statham, and I'm the bad guy in this one for once. Using exactly the same voice as I do in every other movie that I'm in.
I don't mind Jason Statham.
He's not really acting, is he?
No.
Henchman for hire, Jimon Honsu. Obligatory laconic Asian martial arts badass Tony Ya. Chiseled suicide fantasy blonde Ronda Rousey. She's like a massively shredded MMA fighter. And hot blonde. Okay. So, if you like that kind of thing. And Breeze block with a squinty-eyed skull painted on it, played by Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Furious 7 will hit theatres this coming Easter, April 3rd, 2015. Looking forward to that one.
I'm curious as to what they did with the Paul Walker situation.
I don't know. I expect he'll get written out in the second act at some point.
I heard there was Iggy Azalea is going to make an appearance in it as well for some reason.
As what? The back end?
Maybe she's the back end of Paul Walker.
You look so different. Yes, I had plastic surgery to disguise myself.
I had an identity crisis that will be explored in a spin-off franchise.
I am now a trans woman. My name is now Pauline.
And I have mad rapping skills.
Yes, I'm now Pauline, and I would thank you to respect my life choices. Anyway, we also have in the trailer park this week is Chappie. You want to hear that again?
Yes.
Whee. Collider reports South African director Neil Blomkamp, who gave us the astonishing District 9 and the utterly pedestrian Elysium. Did you see that one?
I got halfway through it and fell asleep.
Yeah, do you want to know what happens at the end?
What?
They save the world by turning the computer off and on again. I kid you not.
Really?
That's what they do.
Oh.
They get up to Elysium, they turn the computer off and then on again, and then they find this line of code that says citizens : locked. Citizens are not free, and then they're released not free, and then types in free, and that fixes everything.
Oh my God.
It is so stupid. It's dumbed down to the level where there's bacteria on the seats who are going like, this is stupid. No way.
Dear.
It's terrible. Anyway, he's back with a new sci-fi flick called Chappie about a robot raised by a dysfunctional family, based on the true life story of Michael Jackson. No. I amuse myself so easily. Anyway, every child comes into the world full of promise, Bradley. And none more so than Chappie. He is gifted, special, a prodigy. Like any child, Chappie will come under the influence of his surroundings, some good, some bad.
Is he on the spectrum?
Probably. And he will rely on his heart and soul to find his way in the world and become his own man. But there's more than one thing that makes Chappie different from everyone else. For he is a robot. The first robot with the ability to think and feel for himself. His life, his story, will change the way the world looks at robots and humans forever. I hope that's true. Those Japanese love bots are just as creepy as hell. And we have a clip.
It's like a child. It has to learn.
Your name, Chappie.
Chappie. Anything you want to do in your life, you can do. Write poetry, have original ideas.
Wow.
People are always fearful of something they don't understand.
The problem with artificial intelligence is it's way too unpredictable.
You know what's a black sheep?
No.
It's like when you're different to everyone else.
I think it's going to be lovely.
It sounds lovely.
It is.
Is this a South African production?
It is a South African production. Chappie is played by performance-captured Blomkamp. Sorry.
Good try.
I'm sorry. Chappie is played by a performance-captured Blomkamp mainstay Charlotte Copley, and also features Ozzy Spunktrousers Hugh Jackman.
Oh.
That was the Aussie voice you heard there. That was huge. Hugh Jackman. As well as famous South African weirdo rock punk outfit Die Antwoord.
Sigourney Weaver's in it as well.
Is she?
Yes.
Well, how about that?
Apparently. According to IMDb.
And that hits theatres in March of 2015. And finally in the trailer park, we've got Minions. Yes, the first trailer for Universal's Minions has arrived online. The Despicable Me spin-off will open July of 2015. And here's a clip of that.
Minions. Minions have been on this planet far longer than we have. They go by many names. Dave, Carl. Oh, that one is Norbert. He's an idiot. They all share the same goal. To serve the most despicable master around.
C'est Big Boss. C'est la banana. Miam, miam. Aïe, aïe, aïe.
Finding a master was easy. Keeping a master, that's where things got tricky.
Oh.
Right.
So, continuously unsuccessful at keeping a master, the minions find themselves without someone to serve and fall into a deep depression, like people who vote for the coalition. Hey. One minion named Kevin has a plan, and he, alongside teenage rebel Stuart and lovable little Bob, ventures out into the world to find a new evil boss for his brethren to follow, like the Labour Party. Featuring the same gibberish that made these creatures so lovable in the Despicable Me movies, this spin-off promises to be less painful than most things that parents have to sit through, which is good news for me.
Good.
The rest of you can find your own solutions to life's endless mire of misfortune and pain, like the Greens. Where are you when we need you, Rolf Harris?
Ugh.
It's a structural callback, man. They're supposed to be funny.
Blech.
Anyway.
He's too busy touching himself.
Oh yeah. Well, if you weren't here for the beginning of the show, aren't you lucky?
You really are. Consider yourself very lucky.
Very lucky. Welcome back to Energy Groove Radio. The show that is closing out right now is called Movie Groove. If you've just tuned in, then you've missed it. So yeah, you've missed so much. Especially the Rolf Harris number at the top of the show.
Yeah, that's going to stick in my mind.
That really is. Really is not going to go away for quite some time.
Nope.
Anyway, I've had a lot of fun. Have you had a lot of fun?
I always have a lot of fun.
All right, thank you very much to Brad Duance.
Thank you.
My name has been Alister Lockhart. Enjoy your lives.
Movie Groove, 7 to 9 Thursdays on Energy Groove Radio.
Hey there, podcasters. Thanks for choosing Movie Groove. If you're a regular listener, or even if you're a version groover, why not take a moment to like, subscribe, or even leave an encouraging comment. Every week, Movie Groove brings you news, reviews, and cheap shots at Michael Bay, all for a low, no price or nothing per download. So enjoy the show. Like, subscribe, and comment. It's a little shop that shows a little love.
Very good, Robbie.
I couldn't hear it.